Yo, what's up? So, I'm going to talk about my Forex journey and everything that's happened up until this point right now. So, it all first started back in 2018 when I graduated high school. I immediately knew that I had to get serious about my financial situation. And the way I started taking action on this was I was constantly learning about credit cards, I was learning about credit scores, how to manage your finances, and I was learning about investing. And investing really intrigued me. And as soon as I graduated high school, I opened up this Fidelity account and I bought 4 shares of Intel. And this was around like $200. And I remember at the time, I felt like I was completely changing my life around, even though buying $200 worth of Intel isn't that big of a deal. And also, the reason I bought Intel is because I'm a computer nerd, so I wanted to invest in a company that I believed in. So Intel was the first company that I chose. And after this, I just kept learning about investing because it really interested me. And also, after I graduated high school, I should mention I did start going to college. At first, I was going for cybersecurity, but while I was going to college, I kept learning about trading, and eventually, about a year later, I started learning about options. And options really got me a lot more interested because options give you the ability to make a high percentage return on investment from a smaller investment. So, like, you could make a 200% return on investment in like one day with options, but if you're trying to do that with a regular stock, you're gonna have a really hard time. So, just because I learned about the speed in which you could make money, I became a lot more interested in day trading. And soon after, I learned about more advanced options like option spreads, credit spreads, debit spreads, like iron condors, all those things. I used to trade all those. I used to think that the more advanced the option strategy was, the more easy it might be to make money, even though that's not the case. At least for me, I think things are easier to make money if you're simplifying them. But yeah, so I used to trade those advanced option spreads. And then I had been going to college throughout this whole time for 2.5 years. At first, I was going for cybersecurity, but then I changed my major to finance. The main reason I did this is because like day trading and finance was the only thing I cared about. I seriously was skipping class to day trade, and I was paying all this money to go to this Ivy League school, and I was thinking, if I don't even care about what I'm going to school for, and my grades are starting to go downhill, I should stop paying all this money if I'm not confident that I'm going to graduate. Like, honestly. And it never felt right to me to be in school. Everyone always told me, go to college, you're such a smart kid, it'd be a waste if you never went to college. But the whole time, I don't know how to explain it, but I knew deep down I was not in the right place and I was not in the right path. But yeah, so it was in December of 2020, so I'd been in college for 2.5 years at an Ivy League school. I dropped out, and at this point I had just reached 6 figures of debt. And I think the weird thing was too, I became kind of complacent at this point. I took a bunch of losses trading too. I dropped out of college. I had some other problems going on in my life, and trading just didn't have a place in my life. I was kind of discouraged. But the weird thing was, I always knew that I was going to come back to it. I remember even at the moment I decided that I had to step away, I still knew that I would be back at a later date. It wasn't goodbye, it was I'll see you later. But yeah, so I dropped out at Ivy League school because even when I switched to finance, I still wasn't interested. The classes I was taking there just don't correlate to day trading, as you might imagine. Like you take accounting classes and all that boring stuff. Like, I just want to day trade, make quick money, but I know it's not that easy. But yeah, so it was about midway through 2021, so like about 6 months had gone by. I bet the thing that motivated me was making student loan payments, because that's not fun. I had to start making those payments because after you're out of school, you get 6 months, and then you have to start making your payments. And there's also one other thing that I got distracted by that ended up motivating me. But I don't want to get into that part. But it was midway through 2021 that I got serious again. And I was trading futures now too. And one thing I really liked about futures was that I had the ability to trade without time decay or implied volatility. Because when you're trading options, from the second you open that position, you're immediately either making or losing money due to theta, aka time decay. And there's also the implied volatility on an option. So let's say I trade through earnings, for example, which isn't a good idea. But if you trade through earnings, the stock could go up, you could have a call option, and because of the implied volatility crash, you could not even make money, even though you were right about the direction. I would prefer, if things are simple. If it goes up, I make money. If it goes my way, I should say, I make money. If it goes against me, I lose money. There's no other factors. So that's the way I like to trade. But also at this period of time, when I first came back, I was making a lot of money. I was making a lot of money, the most money I'd ever made at this point. I was trading futures and options. And I'll never forget too, at this point, it was around a couple months after this, I was a $9,000 like week pretty much. And at this point too, I remember I wanted to have a $10,000 month. That was the goal. And then I never actually got that $10,000 month. But as you can imagine, what happened after that was I thought I was the best trader ever. I just kept growing that account, and then once I started taking losses, I started taking even more losses, and I blew the account. It started in November. That's when, I think in October, the account reached its peak. And then November and December, those 2 months, I blew that account to zero. I blew all the capital I had, everything. And that's obviously showing I was not using anywhere close to proper risk management. But yeah, so I blew that account. And again, I even took a small step back again from trading. Because I knew, obviously, what I'm doing is not working out. I was waking up every morning to trade, like for like 4 months. And I was consistently losing money. Like I was showing up. I was learning. I just wasn't learning. I wasn't coming at this correctly. Even though I thought at the time I was. But so I took that step back. This one only lasted for like 3 months because I came back to the markets in March of 2022. So it's funny at this point too. I don't know what made me decide to change, but I also started trading Forex at this point. And before this, I actually used to make fun of Forex traders, honestly. I don't know what I had against Forex, but I just didn't want to hear about Forex. I never cared to learn about it, and I used to make fun of people that traded Forex. I don't know why, I'm sorry. But I decided, though, I've tried everything. At that point, I had tried so many things. I guess we're trying Forex now. So I learned how to trade Forex with my learning I was doing. Because when I came back in 2022 in March, I also bought this notebook that says Follow Your Dreams. And the reason I had this notebook is to hold me accountable, because I wrote in it every day to just talk about my progress. But I also wanted to do an hour of daily learning. This could be like reading a book, or like watching educational videos, or doing some back testing, or just learning about a strategy, or just anything that would benefit my day trading. I wanted to spend at least 1 hour a day. And I did that for 6 months. So for that whole 6 months, there was not one single day that went by that I skipped that daily learning. And I'm saying a minimum. There were some days where I would seriously spend 3 to 4 hours learning, because all I cared about was making this work. I have to, because at this point, I've been out of college for a long time. I have all this student debt. I don't want to go back to college. I've tried other money-making avenues, like dropshipping, copywriting, like Amazon FBA. I'm trying all these things because I don't want to work a job for another person. I need to find a way to get income for myself that I'm going to earn, because that's what I'm determined to do. But yeah, and day trading always seemed like the way that clicked the most with me to do that. But yeah, so I had that journal. I learned daily for the 6 months, and in this period too, I seriously started doing serious back testing. And that's all that is just replaying historical price data and testing your strategy on it to optimize it and see how it performs. So when I started doing all this back testing, that's another period in time in which I started seeing serious improvement. So the first period of serious improvement was when I started doing that 1 hour of daily learning and holding myself accountable in that book. And then after that, the next set of serious growing was when I started doing all this back testing. Because if you think about it, to get experience trading in the live market, it's going to take a long time, and you're sacrificing your own money. But if you're backtesting, you can get more experience and you're not sacrificing your money. And let's say I wonder, if I add this into my strategy, is it going to make it better or worse? I can immediately test that on a month of data and not pay for that. Backtesting is an amazing tool that many people underestimate. But so after the 6 months is up, I think it was around November, I decided I'm going to apply for a prop firm, because I have all this knowledge now. And I used to believe too that prop firms were too good to be true, so I never really cared about them. But in November of 2022, I decided I'm gonna get funded with a prop firm. So I tried to pass the challenge, I think 2 or 3 times in November and December, those 2 months. And then I failed all those 3 times. And then I decided I would take the rest of December off, get my mind straight, and then starting January 1st, I would, the whole year of the 2023, just be full speed ahead toward my goals and make this happen. Because, I mean, one of the realizations I had too when I started writing that book is the only person standing between my goals is me. Like, the only difference between someone who's really successful and me is the amount of effort they're putting in, because I could be putting in a lot more effort, and I believe that if I actually started doing it, that seriously would be the difference between me being successful and not. And I mean, I've been putting in the correct amount of effort lately, and I've been seeing a lot more success. But back on topic. So I failed that prop firm challenge like 3 times. I came back in the beginning of 2023, and I've been taking prop firm challenges since then. And unfortunately, I'm really sorry to tell you, I have not passed the prop firm challenge yet. I've came really close multiple times. There was even one time where I was up 9%, and I was taking my last trade to pass that challenge and get 10% in the first phase. And then I closed that trade at break even, and it would have won. And then because of that, I was just mad. So I put the account back down to break even. And it's funny, the second I hit break even, then now I'm up 8% after I hit break even. So I made 8% again. I need 10%. I still blew the account. So I mean, that's just stuff like that makes me really mad. And there have been times too where there was one time, I know this sounds really stupid, but I meant to put 1.11 lots. I put 11.1 lots. That's one of my worst mistakes. But I mean, I have been improving my trading too, because there have been times where, throughout the process of me taking all these prop firm challenges, I have optimized my strategy. I remember one thing I realized was maybe I shouldn't trade every pair, because I used to trade any pair in existence. But now I only trade a certain set of pairs that I've done back testing on, because now with those pairs, I'm confident I know how they work, and I've done testing on them, and I know my strategy is successful on them. Just things like that. And my risk to reward, like I've tested what's the optimal risk to reward and what's the optimal time of day to trade, just stuff like that. And I have seen more success. And I mean, I think I'm going to pass the prop firm challenge really soon. And that's part of the reason that I've started posting content. Because before, honestly, part of the reason I always kind of wanted to post content, but I feel like it's just, you can't post content when you're not a successful trader. And if I'm not passing prop firm challenges, in my mind, I'm not a successful trader. But I do believe it'll be coming really soon. I do want to start posting content of me doing like back testing, and I'm just going to be pretty much just logging my journey. Because I know some people, like, Iman Godzi. Iman Godzi was taking videos of himself from the start of his journey. And I think it's so cool that you can watch the progression from the beginning all the way to what he is now. So, I mean, I would like to have something like that for myself. And even if no one else wants to watch it, cool, I'll watch it myself. But yeah, I just want to watch the progression of myself, because I seriously believe that I'm at a point where serious growth is about to start happening. I constantly listen to audiobooks. I work out every day. I make sure I eat healthy. I show up to the charts every single day, and I'm determined to be a full-time Forex trader. And I'm fully confident that I can make it happen. I've been working at this for 5 years at this. I know that I can do this. I'm gonna make it happen. And also, too, I want to remind you that with enough hard work, you can make anything happen. Don't forget that. But I'm going to be posting a lot more content on this channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you can like and subscribe. And don't forget, you can do anything that you set your mind to.